Hey everyone, April 11th, 2023, and I wanted to follow up from my other video yesterday, and I wanted to say that when I refer for you mothers that your children are going through this, I'm just really sad for you. I'm very, very sad that, they talked you into doing something like that and made you think that you were wrong following your gut instinct. Well, I watched that Jazz Jennings. I watched his mother and her. Oh my gosh. I just do not understand that. Your child is suffering and you're gonna go in the middle of the night and what? Who on earth, what doctors and what psychologists ever decided that this was okay? That poor guy, that poor girl, that poor person. And I guess I've been thinking of non-binary all this time wrong. I thought non-binary just meant you were nothing, but then I seen a video yesterday. Well, it means you can be a him one day, a her the next day, a them one time, a they this time. How are the rest of us supposed to keep up with all of this? Like I say, I was pretty liberal a month ago. I had no idea that 15-year-old girls could actually get mastectomies in my state, and the state would pay for it. The state is paying to mutilate young women, taking off their breasts. I wonder why they don't agree to take out their uterus and everything too at the same time. Why only the breast when they're 15 years old? When I was 15 years old, I was breastfeeding my baby. I couldn't imagine. I was thinking, it's pretty scary for me to come home and tell my mom I was pregnant. So I'm thinking, as a 15-year-old girl in Oregon, I could go sign up to get a mastectomy. I don't have to tell my family anything. Go get the mastectomy and then come home, and then what kind of conversation is that? And mutilating children is not a crime, and the state pays for it. I just did not know that the taxes were going for that. I had no idea. No idea. So I'm going to read you a little bit of from there. Oops, poke my eye out. Let's see, where did it go? Okay, so I'm on the Oregon Gov OHA, and it's the prioritized list guideline for gender dysphoria frequently asked question, and this is about children. And this goes back to 2000 and I think it was in 2015 that became okay. At its August 2014 meeting, the Health Evidence Review Commission, HERC, approved coverage for cross-sex hormone therapy and gender reassignment surgery to the gender dysphoria line on the prioritized list of health services. It's prioritized. In 2013 and 2014, the commission approved coverage for puberty suppression hormones for gender questioning youth and added gender reassignment surgery. All of these changes took effect January 1st, 2015. And then beginning on January 1st, 2016, coverage for surgical procedures will be updated. This includes adding coverage for breast augmentation and removing coverage for functional penile implants. I guess they had been covering it, and they're not going to give teenagers that. Not the functional ones? What, are they just going to give them the broken ones? How does this even make sense? HERC prioritizes diagnosis requiring life-saving treatment and diagnosis where treatment has significant impact on reducing suffering, restoring healthy life, has a high efficacy, and treats a vulnerable population according to the methodology of the prioritized list. Until you're 18 years old, you basically should have no rights to mutilate your body. And then what happens if something goes wrong? I guess the Oregon Health Plan would cover all that too, but we're talking life, a lifetime. they should not be doing this to children. They should not be doing this to children. And let's go. Treatment for gender dysphoria meets all these priorities. Suicide in untreated gender dysphoria patients is a major problem, and treatment has been shown to reduce suicide attempt rates from 30% down to 5%. Treatment with puberty suppressant hormones, cross-sex hormone therapy, and gender reassignment surgery has been shown to be highly effective in relieving gender dysphoria, reducing depression and anxiety, and reducing rates of suicide attempts. Okay, what was the process for Herc's decision? The Herc's Value-Based Benefits Subcommittee heard extensive testimony from experts and reviewed relevant literature regarding the effectiveness of cross-sex hormone therapy and gender reassignment surgery for relieving gender dysphoria. Okay, now I've been watching Buck Angel, and I'm understanding a little bit more about the dysphoria thing. Another thing is for reducing depression and anxiety. Well, what about all their brain jugs they came out with in the 90s? What about all their Prozacs and Zolofts and Effexors and all those? Those aren't working? They're still giving them to people. And then it reduces rates of suicide and suicide attempts. Well, I'm hearing from the videos that I'm watching over on Buck Angel and a couple other channels that is not true. They're not committing suicide left and right. You know, teenagers in general probably are a high suicidal rate without having this, without them having to question their own identity. You know, I feel so gaslit. I can't even imagine how they would feel. I just can't even imagine how I would feel growing up knowing state-sponsored mutilations. And that, you know, my dad's wife, she's passed on now. She was never able to have children. When she was young, she had really, really bad cramps and menstrual problems. I don't know. It was bad enough that they gave her a hysterectomy at, 25. She didn't have any kids, 25 years old. And before my dad died, a few years before my dad died, she had gone to the doctors. And the doctor that she went to told her that she probably she didn't need that hysterectomy that she had. It probably didn't do anything to change anything. And I tell you, that just broke her spirit. That broke her spirit. She was okay with it until she was told this didn't have to happen. I myself am a DES baby. I'm going to do a video about that too. See, I feel connected to this because of that too. When my mom was pregnant with me, she had to go to the doctors and get shots on her hip every week. But thankfully, she didn't know she was pregnant with me till she was like 5 months pregnant. So I don't think I got as damaged. But, that was a hormone. That was a hormone they gave her. And now me, as a menopausal woman, I can't get hormones. But some guy can go in there and say he's a woman and get hormones tomorrow. I do not. I mean, I'm sure I can't get them because it would be bad for me, but they're gonna, I'm 55, and I've always had to tell the doctors and, I've lost 3 babies and they say preterm birth and all that is a can happen with that. I don't know, but I feel very medical experimentational-ish about this whole thing. And, I don't know how many people in my state have actually gone through with this. I can't believe there's not more doctors standing up and saying, this is wrong. Where are all the gynecologists? If anybody should have your back, it should be a gynecologist. You know the woman's body. I mean, you're up in it all day long. Where are they? How come nobody's speaking out and saying, I do not agree with this? Why? Why would Budweiser do what they're doing? And why would doctors not say anything? I watch doctor channels. I watch a few doctor channels. They have not peeped a word about this. I would have known a lot sooner. These subcommittees reviewed and agreed with staff recommendations to add coverage for these services, update an organs policy and bringing it into line with the current major international treatment guidelines. International. HERC first voted to move gender dysphoria into the covered portion of the prioritized list with the publication of the 2015 biennial list. Services initially approved for this covered line include psychotherapy. Okay, yeah, you always got to have the psychotherapy in there. I don't agree with psychotherapy. I know a lot of people say it's great and it's wonderful, but I think it's leading us down dark roads. Psychotherapy, medical visits, and medications to suppress puberty in gender questioning youth. What are the criteria for OHP members to qualify for services under the gender dysphoria line? Cross-sex hormone therapy is included on this line for treatment of adolescents and adults with gender dysphoria who meet appropriate eligibility and readiness criteria. To qualify for cross-sex hormone therapy, the patient must have persistent, well-documented gender dysphoria, have the capacity to make a fully informed decision and give consent for treatment. That pretty much just means if you're able to talk. Have any significant medical or mental health concerns reasonably well controlled. Have a thorough physiosocial assessment by a qualified mental health professional with experience in working with patients with gender dysphoria. Starting October 1st, 2015, a comprehensive mental health evaluation shall provide in accordance with version 7 of the World Professional Association for Transgender Health.